first thing I did to get to where I am now is I started eating raw food diet. I stopped eating dead animals, I stopped eating dead food in general. I stopped eating all dead food. If it was cooked, I stopped eating it. If it was cooked, I stopped eating it. I started eating fresh, raw, living foods. And I only ate fresh, raw, living foods. And in a matter of, days, I felt completely different. I felt like a completely different person. In a matter of weeks, I definitely was a different person. In a matter of months, I was in on YouTube just pumping out the content because I just couldn't hold it in any longer. And in just a matter of a couple of years, I'm unrecognizable. I became unrecognizable in every way, shape, or form. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's very cliche to say, but it's so true. It's like, there's no better way to put it. When you eat a raw food diet, when you eat fresh, raw, living foods, you feel fresh, raw, and alive. When you eat living foods, you feel like, you're actually living for once. So that's thing number one I did. I started eating raw food diets. Thing number two I did is I got super inspired and motivated by the fact that there's something out there called the law of attraction. And this is something I knew nothing about before. I was not taught about the law of attraction in my household growing up. I was not taught about the law of attraction in school, during my education. I was not even taught about the law of attraction in college, where I paid thousands of dollars to go, in which I eventually dropped out of, because I felt like absolutely trapped there. So once I found out about the law of attraction, and I realized that, hey look, whatever you focus on, you get more of. Whatever you think about, comes about. And wherever your attention goes, energy flows. And I found out about that, and I discovered that thoughts become things. It's really that simple. Thoughts become things. Those three words. Thoughts become things. I started to program into my mind the things that I wanted to think about. The things that I wanted to come about, I started to think about them. And people, there's all this talk about belief, they say, you gotta believe it, you gotta believe it. Well, the truth is, a belief is just a thought that you've thought a lot. A belief is nothing more than a thought that you have thought a lot. All your beliefs are thoughts that you've thought a lot. All my beliefs are thoughts that I've thought a lot. So when you think something a lot, it becomes a belief. So I was thinking about law of attraction, I was thinking of all the things that I wanted. I wanted to make my money online, I wanted to live around the world, to go to Thailand, I wanted to eat 100% raw and succeed on it. I wanted to make YouTube videos, make a name for myself. Just keep thinking about these things. You can't stop because you fall in love with them anyway. But you definitely get the ball rolling, build some momentum by thinking about them deliberately, and then eventually it's just like, autopilot, these things just stick. So that's thing number two. I just fell in love with the idea of law of attraction. I just started writing a list of everything I wanted. Once I wrote that on that list of the things I wanted, here's thing number three that I did. I made mind movies of them. So I would get pictures on Google Images. I get pictures on mostly Google Images, but sometimes I'd like go to certain websites and get pictures off there. This was like before like the Pinterest and Tumblr days. This was before like I even really cared about Facebook. It's just Google Images basically. I'm trying to think any other site I went to. No, I reckon it's just Google Images. Anyways, I typed in all the things I wanted. Like I wrote in like beautiful house, and I wrote in like backyard swimming pool, and I wrote in Lamborghini, and I wrote in make money online, I wrote in like living in the tropics, I wrote in amazing girlfriend, all these things I wrote down, right? Whatever, just whatever a 21-year-old guy could want. I pretty much found a picture for it on Google Images, and I saved it to my computer, and then I turned that into a movie with iMovie, and I added some, so it's like a slide. I had like put up each picture on the iMovie for like 4 seconds, 3, 4, 5 seconds each slide, and that's a pretty big freaking house, man. People are living there right now. And then I added music to those slides, so you could hear like as you're looking at these photos of the things you want. So now you're getting pumped up from the music, and you're staring at these things that you really, really want. So you're utilizing your eyes and your ears and your heart, isn't it? Now your heart can resonate with the and I had some text on the screen saying, I have this, and I have this, and I do this, and I do this, and I live here, and I live there, and blah, 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 blah. And then I started watching these mind movies over and over and over and over and over again. And it felt really good to watch these mind movies over and over and over again. And then a funny thing happened. Eventually I started getting these things that I wanted. or I got really close to having the things I wanted. I got a taste for the things that I said I wanted, and then I decided I no longer wanted them. So an example is I said I wanted a Lamborghini, and then I went to the, eventually, you know, a year later, a couple years later, I forget, I think a couple years later, went to the Lamborghini dealership, sat in a Lamborghini, and right away I was like, I do not want a Lamborghini anymore. But I thought I wanted it, I got a taste what it would be like to have it, but once I get the taste, I was like, nah, I don't want it anymore. That's okay to do. A lot of people think that you should hold on to your dreams no matter what. It's like, why would you hold on to a dream that you don't even want anymore? That's crazy, it's absurd. Move on. Find another dream that you're really actually passionate about now. So that's an example right there with the Lamborghini. Another thing is I thought I wanted a dog, and I had a little picture of me and my dog, and now it's like, why would I want my own dog when I could just like be friends with other people's dogs and just be friends with like wild dogs and other animals? I don't need to like have to, you know, care over all the freaking time. So that's another thing that changed. But a lot of the things came true. I started making 100% of my money online. Another thing that came true was I got the bike that I wanted. I didn't even know, I didn't, this is the craziest part of the whole Mind movie, man. I had the exact same bike in the Mind movie. I'll post the image of it here. Like 4 or 5 years ago. I watched this 100 times or more, a couple hundred times. And just like 6 months ago, I bought that same bike, that exact same model of the bike. Same brand, same model, everything. And then just recently sold that bike as well, because again, my dreams change. But the craziest part is like I got that exact same bike in my life. And I mean, a bunch of other crazy things happened too. Like, yeah, I eventually started making all my money online and started living in the tropics, just like I said I would. But the point is, guys, the point is, I guess I should have started the video off by saying this. The point is, my life was not always like this. At one point, all the things that I wanted were unrealistic. They were unrealistic. As unrealistic as it is for me now to maybe think about living on Mars or something, in 10 years time that could be a reality. There's a good chance that could be a reality. I will be on Mars in 10 years. That's a good chance. If you follow anything on Elon Musk on YouTube or online in general, and follow Elon Musk on Twitter or whatever, you see what he's doing. Plans on putting people on Mars by 2025. I could be one of those people. So it's, yeah, it's unrealistic. It seems unrealistic perhaps. Seems totally far out there, far-fetched, but it's honestly like now, it's like having experienced what I just experienced in the past 6 years. You know, I just started this manifestation thing like 6 years ago, 7 years ago, and I've gotten everything I once wanted. So, can't wait for the next 10 years. That's just amazing. Good times ahead. Anyway, so that's the second thing I did, or the third thing, I forget which one we're on. I made Mind movies. But another thing I did often is I went for audiobook walks. I went for audiobook walks every day. And I would walk the same route every day. It was like an hour or 2 hour route, depending on which one I went. But I would do the exact same 2 routes. Take the same corners, take the same curves. So I don't have to think about where I'm walking. I would just listen to that same audiobook. And I'd press play, like at my house. I'd walk to these places, and like as soon as I come to this corner, that same part of the audiobook would play. As soon as I like step on like this crack in the sidewalk, the guy would say like,
your brain is an electronic switching station that enables you by using certain cells in your brain to alter the vibration that this body's in.
And that is how you do it. And like, every day I'd be like, that is how you do it. And like, you know, so I would like start to cue up certain parts of the book with certain areas of the forest. So I like, it's amazing what part of the brain that triggers. You know, you see a tree up ahead, and that cues you to know that he's about to talk about a certain subject. And it's like as soon as you get to that tree, he says the exact same word that he said last week, and the week before that, and the week before that, and you know he's gonna say the exact same word tomorrow as well. So anyways, I would listen to the same audiobook over and over and over again. And if you wanna know which audiobook that is, actually, it's not even an audiobook, it's just an MP3 that I took off YouTube. Well, it's a video on YouTube that I converted into MP3, and that is Bob Proctor's The Science of Getting Rich. So check that out. It's amazing stuff, all about increasing your awareness. Another audiobook I listen to often, especially while I was gardening in my backyard, is The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale.
Success is really nothing more than the progressive realization of a worthy ideal.
Those are the main like 3 or 4 things there, guys. First thing, I started eating a raw food diet. Next thing is I found out about the law of attraction. Next thing is I got really serious about law of attraction, and I made Mind movies about it. because I knew that, you know, whatever you focus on you get, so I watched those mind movies over and over and over again. And then the other thing is audiobooks. Just keeping my thoughts on, you know, continuous expansion. And remaining fascinated. Every time I listen to these audiobooks, I was fascinated every time. It's still fascinating for me to listen to these audiobooks. And I owe those audiobooks for sure to help me become who I am today. The guy who takes the stairs. The guy who makes YouTube videos. The guy who goes on stage in Denmark and UK and talks about raw food. I would not be doing what I'm doing now if it weren't for the mind movies, if it weren't for the audiobooks, if it weren't for raw food. So those are the 3 big takeaways, guys. Go home, go do your homework now, and enjoy yourself. Know that you're on the path. As soon as you start listening to a good audiobook, you're on the path. As soon as you start eating more raw food, you're on the path. And as soon as you make that mind movie and watch it over and over again, as soon as you watch it once, you're on the right path. But for real, most important part of the video right here, let your feelings be your guide and do what's most exciting. Do what you feel is most exciting. If something's not exciting, don't do it. If it's exciting, do it.
I knew that was coming.
Gotcha.
Oh,
surprise tickle attacks.
He doesn't.
So for me, the difference between a raw food and a cooked food is that raw food really works.
The difference between raw food and cooked food is that when I eat cooked food, I don't feel as alive, I don't feel as hydrated, I don't feel as good, I have to sleep more. I just don't have the energy and the vibrance that I have when I eat just an abundance of raw, fresh fruits and vegetables.
So if I'd have a cooked dinner, I notice when I wake up in the morning I feel quite heavy and not so good, whereas if I have a light fruit dinner, I wake up in the morning, I feel great, you know, I can just get up, run, it just feels amazing. And I've really noticed the difference between eating like raw all day or raw till 4, so with like cooked meal in the evening. And I feel much better when I eat just all raw food.